Okay, so this is the very first thing you see on a website that's one part science, one part business pitch, and one part cosmic myth. It's a pretty wild combination, to say the least. Today, we're going to try and figure out what it all means.
So we're looking at a pitch deck for something called the sovereign molecule. But honestly, before we can even get to the science or the business side of things, we have to get through this very, very strange outer layer.
So where do we even begin? Let's start with the name itself. BBBB. The website is set up to look like a magazine and some kind of research archive. And it's just filled with these clues that at first glance make absolutely no sense.
I mean, check this out. At the bottom of the page, you find this. It sounds so prestigious, doesn't it? Like some important academic institution. But what exactly is a cosmic university, and what are echo rift studies? This is our first big hint that we're not dealing with your typical corporate document.
And oh, it gets weirder. Another line reads, Oceanic Borg Covenant in Ascension Mode. This sounds like it's pulled straight from a science fiction movie, not a scientific abstract. You get the feeling it's deliberately strange, you know? It's designed to make you stop and ask what you're even reading.
Which brings us to the central question we're all asking at this point. What is going on here? Is this some kind of wild art project? A really elaborate prank? Or is there something more substantial, something real hidden underneath all of this mythic language? Well, it turns out if you peel back those layers, you find something surprisingly familiar. A pitch deck. It's a detailed proposal for licensing a new patent-pending cosmetic ingredient that they call the SH-1 molecule.
Okay, so this is the real core of it all. SH-1 is a small molecule, which is a big deal because that means it's tiny enough to be absorbed easily, and it's designed to improve hair and scalp health. Now, here's the crucial part. It's not a drug. It's a cosmetic that works by influencing your body's own natural systems.
The document makes a really bold case for SH-1 being a total game changer. It's positioning this molecule as a direct challenge to the current established therapies that are out there for hair health. This slide makes a fascinating direct comparison. On the left, it points out all the problems with current treatments, like directly using IGF-1. Now, IGF-1 is a growth factor that's super important for hair, but delivering it is tough. The molecules are just too big to penetrate the scalp properly. But then on the right, SH-1 is presented as this elegant solution. It's a small molecule, so it actually gets through. And instead of replacing IGF-1, it just helps restore your body's own natural signaling, a completely different strategy. And the language they use to describe the molecule itself is so unique. It's built on a proprietary tetracyclic scaffold, which sounds very, very scientific. But then its components are called cosmetic anchors, with names like coconut tether and botanical plume. It's hardcore science described with the language of poetry.
So how does this really cool scientific concept actually become a business? Because make no mistake, behind all the myth and the science, there's a very clear financial pitch happening here.
The first major selling point is cost. The pitch deck claims that using SH-1 could save manufacturers 30 to 40% on raw material costs compared to what they're using right now. For any brand, that's a huge incentive. And it's not just about saving money. The pitch also argues that the novelty and effectiveness of SH-1 would let brands charge a premium. We're talking 25 to 35% more for the final product, so it's cheaper to make and you can sell it for more. And this chart just brilliantly illustrates that powerful 1-2 punch of their business case. You're lowering your costs while at the same time increasing your revenue. For a cosmetics company, that is an incredibly attractive proposition.
The business model itself is super straightforward. They're not selling the molecule directly, they're licensing it. They offer different levels of exclusivity, they provide all the technical know-how to produce it, and they even offer co-branding with their very own strange magazine.
Okay, so now we have the full picture. A novel cosmetic ingredient with a really strong business case. Which brings us all the way back to our original question. Why? Why wrap all of this in a layer of cosmic mystery? Why the Oceanic Borg Covenant? Well, the pitch deck actually answers this. The strategy is to fuse the practical benefits of the product with a deep, mythic narrative. So the real-world results, like hydration, ground the story in reality. The patent gives it this air of a secret ingredient. And that whole cosmic backstory, it creates a massive potential for storytelling and marketing that other brands just can't compete with.
And here's the crucial point. This isn't accidental, it's the entire point.
A disclaimer on the site explicitly states that all the content is intentionally created as mythic infrastructure. The bizarre language isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's all designed to build a world, an entire brand universe, around one single molecule.
So that leaves us with a final question. In a world that's just saturated with boring corporate marketing, is this the future? A strategy that sells not just a product, but a whole mythology to go with it? Or is it just an elaborate, brilliantly executed piece of performance art? Maybe the real genius is that it might just be both.